Thank you, Corey. I thought going last was going to be easiest. I don't think that's necessarily the case. My name's Tim Hawkins. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. Lived there till I was about 22 years old. I had family that lived in the area when I was younger than that, so I ended up here just kind of in passing. Had accepted a job in Pensacola, Florida, and was spending some time with my mom for a little bit, and met my wife, not my wife at the time, of course, but met Sunday when I was in town, and ended up sticking around. So in the last 30 days, we had our 18-year wedding anniversary. I have two boys. One, Lucius, he is going into his junior year of high school. He plays on the baseball team, and Elias, who is going into the 7th grade, and is starting football this year, so that ought to be interesting.
Please describe the role of a local school board member as you understand it. Why are you the best person to fill this position?
I think there's obvious definitions of school board members. I think we've kind of heard that all week, but I think the role is really kind of a liaison between the stakeholders in the school system, the teachers, the principals, the custodians, the board office, just a liaison between them and the public. So I think that's really kind of the role. I really like Pell City. I really enjoy being here. I'm really excited to be a part of this whole process and hopefully be a member of this board. I work for AT&T, and I do engineering and network strategy for them. And also as part of developing strategies, I'm also responsible for maintaining the relationships with the municipalities and the school systems that are involved in kind of our strategic plan, whether it's, installing antennas in a college football stadium or putting antennas in a school system so the first responders have service. So I also manage those relationships too. So I think that is going to play into a lot of the relationship building that's going to have to happen with the school board. I don't think good school systems and strong school systems, I don't think they just don't happen. You have to create them, and I think that's something I could definitely do. I could bring the skill set from my professional career into the school system. And I also, part of the relationship building too, I think there's an opportunity here. I think we're going to be, there's going to be a lot more interaction, I believe, with the city council than there has been in the previous couple of years. So I think having a relationship and having experience dealing with city councils, I think is going to benefit us. I think there's a big opportunity for that. I think there's a potential for maybe, mutual grant applications that could be done on behalf of the city and behalf of the school system. I think I'm really excited that we're going to be able to team up have a council and a school board all on the same page, all moving in the same direction.
What are the most significant issues our school district is currently facing? How would you propose the district address these challenges?
I think if I answer that, I think it's mainly speculation. I don't really want to speculate on that. I think what would need to happen, I think the stakeholders in the school system are who can really answer that. And I mean, I'm really looking forward to meeting with principals and teachers, people on the front lines, to find out, what are those issues? What are the significant issues that they're seeing? I mean, I would like to put some town halls in place, either, maybe both ways, town halls with faculty members and principals, maybe 1 month, and then the following month have a town hall with the community and answer their questions. I think we need a lot of communication back and forth between us and both sides of the education system, whether it's the students and the parents, or whether it's the the people actually in the school systems. I know we've heard, teacher retention was an issue, and that I couldn't find anything in our school system that really said retention an issue. I know there's a shortage of teachers nationally. I think we need to find a way to alleviate that issue for our school system. So I think we need to have students that are in our school system and leaving, going to college, that are going to become teachers. We need to find a way to incentivize them to come back and share their knowledge, with our students. I think that's how we kind of do something about the national trend of the shortage. I'm not sure what those incentives would be right now, but I think that's the path we're going to have to go down. We're going to get them back and keep them in the community. I think that, going back to kind of the city council discussion, I think that also, that's an economic development driver too for the city. So I think that's something I would like to do.
The Alabama State Department of Education scored Pell schools an 80 in 2022, an 81 in 2023, and an 83 in 2024. What are your thoughts on this trend and the trajectory of the school system overall?
I think any positive trajectory is a good thing. Is it the trajectory that we hope to see in the future? We'd hope to accelerate that a little bit. But I think if you look at the numbers, if you look at the scorecards, St. Clair County and Dr. Burns, they scored ahead of us in all but academic growth. So I'm excited for him coming in, and I'm excited to work with him to find out what's worked for them. How are they higher in some of those categories than we are? So I think that's exciting. I think we need data, some real local data. We get state data. I would like to see some really hyper local data insights that's going to provide actionable items for us to execute on to increase those scores. I think so. I was kind of looking over some of it. If you look at Durand, academic achievement, they're at 62. Pell City High School is at 33. If you look at academic growth, Durand's at 95. Pell City High School is at 75. I don't know what's causing that, but I would find out. I'm going to find out. I think really local data insights like that is really what we need and to execute, just to increase those scores. And I think we can really, really execute on that data. But I was kind of surprised when I saw those numbers.
Do we have any follow-up questions from any of the community members? Okay, follow-up question, Tim. How important is long-term strategic planning for a school system? And what key areas should Pell City schools prioritize the plan?
I think it's very important. I think it's very important for any school system or any corporation or anything. It's what I do for a living. I would say if we're going to focus on anything, it has to be CCR. It has to be college and career readiness. I have a lot of interns at work, a lot of engineering interns, and the number one thing I see is communication skills. I think to get kids ready for college, to get them ready for, if they don't choose college, if they're going into a separate career path, I think communication skills need to be paramount. I don't think it really matters what you know if you can't communicate it to the people that you're dealing with. One thing I do over the last 7 or 8 years, I've worked with Chelsea High School. Everybody as a senior, they have to interview with local business leaders. They do a resume. They, just like they're interviewing for a job, and they have to do a 30-minute presentation. Every senior in the high school has to do that. And it just creates, it kind of opens their eyes, I think, to think about some things they may not have. And it opens our eyes to see what's coming into the job market from our high schools. So I would like to implement that here as well. I think everybody benefits from that. But so like the CTE, I would like to see if we can implement it to where everybody, like as a graduation requirement, we would have, I don't know how you really put it, but like a CTE credential. Every student, I would like to see be able to have to earn that in order to graduate, whether it's, passing an AP exam, college readiness on the ACT, enlisting in the military, or any of the other, we had 203 credentials earned last year for 253 students. So I think we're successful in that. I would like to see that implemented as a requirement to graduate. I was surprised at all of the credentials that were earned and what they were earned in. It was really impressive, and I don't think it gets enough credit. And I would like to see more students involved in that.
What steps would you take to establish and maintain trust in the board?
So probably for the last 7 or 8 years, I've read every school board meeting, the agenda and the briefs after the meeting. If you look at an agenda prior to the meeting, there's nothing on a school board agenda. It's just the outline. There's no actual items that are going to be discussed. So, if you're kind of on the fence, everybody's busy, everybody has other things to do. Everybody wants to be involved in the school system, but if there's not things on the agenda that is going to be on it, are you going to spend your time going to it? Probably not. So I don't think that's a lot to ask. I think I've been to thousands of council meetings in the last couple of years of my career, and I've never seen anything that puts any group that puts out an agenda that doesn't have the items that are going to be discussed on it. So I'd make that change. I'd also stream all our meetings. I think it creates a better sense of community. If you can't make it to the meeting and you are interested in something that's going on there, and you can't make it, how do you watch it? How do you know? So that would be another thing I would implement for sure. I think we've done a good job of recognizing groups, FFA or just any groups. I think the council has done a good job, or the school board has done a good job of recognizing those people. But they have relatives all over the country, and they can't watch that recognition because we're not streaming those. I think as a sense of community and just positivity around the school system, I think everybody wants to see that. I think all the kids locally would love to share that with family members around the country.
What is your perception of our school district's current working and learning environment? Do you have ideas on how to ensure and maintain a positive environment?
Well, some of the answers that I would give on that would probably be repeats. But one thing I will say, I was told yesterday that the summer school program at Kennedy they were kind of short on snacks. So I went by there today, brought them some snacks, was taken around, and was able to visit with all the children and all the teachers and just kind of see what was going on. And it looked like a great working and learning environment to me, what I saw. I saw kids excited. I saw teachers excited. I was excited. It was great. So, anything else I would answer to that would be, kind of similar things that I talked about before, town halls, that sort of thing. But also, especially after doing that today, I would want to be in the schools more. I would try to get into probably each school once a month. I would reach out to a principal, hey, do you mind at 3 o'clock if I just kind of walk around and talk to some teachers and see what's on their mind. You may not get anything out of that first time doing that, second time doing that, but if you keep it up, after 4 or 5 months, you're gonna get some honest feedback from people on the front lines, and I think that's really important.
What are your thoughts on the current structure of the Pell City curriculum? How should this district's curriculum balance college preparatory courses, vocational, and life skills?
I like it. My older son is doing dual enrollment this year. He's going into his junior year. I'm really happy that he's able to do that. I already talked about the CTE. I think that's really important. Talked to some students, and they said in previous years we had a career prep class. Everybody's required to take career prep. Previous years they did a Dave Ramsey program throughout that career prep. We don't do that anymore. I would go back to that if possible. What I was told is we've kind of went to a system of, just kind of like self-learning, like training, like videos and skipping through and answering questions. I think we need to prepare these kids for the real world, and I think financial awareness is a huge deal. So I think if we could, I would go back to the Dave Ramsey program. I don't think we could do this, but when I was in high school, we had to take a consumer education class when I was a junior in high school. And one of the things we would do, they would teach us how to do our own taxes. So one of the things we would do, the freshmen and sophomores would come into our class that had jobs, and we're just doing 1040 easies. These are real easy things, but we would do their taxes for them. So I think my mom roped me into doing her taxes for a couple of years after that. But I think that was beneficial, extremely beneficial. Real world things I'd like to see implemented.
Tim, thank you for your time tonight. We should have a few minutes left if you'll be in this for the closing statement.
No, just thanks for having me. And I've seen everybody's interviews. Everybody's been great. I don't envy the position everybody's in. I think we're going to have a great school board going forward, regardless of who's selected. Thank you for having me.